There is a fifth dimension.
About the unknown.
Beyond that which is known to man.
The Garden of Thought.
The Babylon Project was our last best hope for peace.
Unexplained.
Mythologies.
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call...
The Garden of Thought with Jeff Lippman.
Eventually, our sun will grow cold and go out.
You're listening to something much bigger, something hidden in plain sight.
It won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe and Lao Tzu and Einstein. All of us was for nothing, unless we go to the stars.
What you're about to learn will completely change the way you experience your mind, your thoughts, and yourself.
Let's make sure that history never forgets the name.
The Garden of Thought.
Welcome to another Gospel of Thomas presented by Wrestling Soup. It's been a minute since we've been on, and our guest today has been someone who's made the rounds, and I promised him only two things. One is that he doesn't have to repeat the same things he's repeated on a whole bunch of podcasts. He's recently been on the Don Reynolds and White Chocolate podcast on a network that carries this show. He's also going to appear on, or has appeared, with the Honorary Zeus, who does the NXT show on this network, the Tapa show. So I figure that there's a pretty good chance that if you're listening to this show, you've listened to at least one of those, or both, or at least now you know how to. So if you want to get like the last 30 years of his life in wrestling, you can go there, or one of his two podcasts, which I'm sure he will talk about as well. But welcome and thank you for being here, Referee Jimmy Korderas.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting. Whatever you want to chat about, I'm easy.
Let's dive right into it and get into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Well, should we say first that Mr. Thomas is here this episode?
I'm alive and well.
Thanks for asking, right?
That is great. You look terrific, Thomas.
I'm here. I'm back. I'm tan. I'm fresh off a vacation, ready for the next one.
You're always off a vacation. I mean, sometimes I feel bad for you and wonder why you seem grumpy. And you're
because I'm back. If I'm ever in a bad mood, it's because I'm back. And if you text me as soon as we get off this call, I'll send you photos of my last vacation, and you'll understand why I'm so upset.
Okay. I think all right. Well, this is an exciting preview. Sorry, Ref, I guess. Maybe if this goes well for you and Thomas, you'll be on his little text chain as well. I mean, you just never know. Maybe one day also Boomaye will be for the people, and you'll be one of the people Boomaye is for. So, all right. Thomas, the New England Wrestling Hall of Fame, is that what you said?
In my research, I came across that Jimmy was inducted into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which intrigues me because I have some ties with New England wrestling, and I'm just, any thoughts or statements on New England wrestling in general?
New England's always been a hot spot for wrestling, especially when I was in WWE, WWF before that. You know, the Northeast has always been a hot spot for wrestling, you know, and now, especially now, it became a hot spot for independent wrestling, which is very cool. And I got a call, I want to say it was 2015. A good friend of mine, Joseph Bruin, said, I'd like to have you come down to New England Fan Fest. We want to induct you into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I said, that's great. That's awesome. I appreciate that. You know, I'm honored, but is it just for people from New England? Because obviously I'm not from New England. I'm Canadian. So does that matter? He says, no, that doesn't matter. And it was really cool. I got the plaque actually right behind me. It's under that car thing there. So
I mean, there was a moment where it was probably part of New England, literally.
But you got to think it's pro wrestling, though. Do you go off like gimmick New England, or do you go off like tickets sold in New England? It could go either way, but
yeah, but it was cool. It was cool. I'm going to head back there actually on May 2nd for the Fan Fest, which is going to be a lot of fun too. What I like about that though is I get to see a lot of the guys that I haven't seen in for a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, you still stay in contact with a core group of guys, but there's a lot of guys that you know how it is. You don't, over time, everybody, some live down south in Atlanta, some live in Nashville, some live in Vegas, you know, a lot of them down in Florida still. I'm still up here in Canada, always been, have never moved. So a little hard to see some of the guys sometimes. I got the pleasure of actually seeing Earl Hebner this weekend, which was kind of cool because he came up here for an appearance. So unless I go to any of these WrestleCons or Fan Fests or something like that, unfortunately, I don't get to see the guys too much, but I really love going out to see the guys. That's for sure.
And Jeff, while we're talking about New England, if you're a wrestling fan in the New England region and you want to be a pro wrestler or a referee, New England Pro Wrestling Academy, check that out. Cheap plug and free.
You should also put a plug for your friend's promotion that was on the show, your former tag team partner.
Rad Pro Wrestling.
There we go. That was a fun show, by the way. That was a fun show. All right. I actually know a guy who's a referee. He's young in his career, but he's starting to get booked. I mean, he's been booked 2 or 3 times by MLW, which is, Thomas's haunts. He's doing some more for NWA. So he's making his way in the world. And this was the kid, because he might be 26 or 27 now, but he was like 19 or 20 when I was co-hosting a podcast on this network called Unpopular Review. And every now and then they drag me in to cover a show, or, like once or twice a year, I'll say yes. They're generally on too late for me, but we would do Raw, and we would do it live right after Raw ended. And I'm the old fuddy-duddy, so I should be tired, but he was asleep. He's yawning. His eyes are red. His nose is red. He has allergies. He's wiping his nose all the time. So I kept making cocaine jokes about him. And his mother's in the chat, and she's putting in laugh emojis. Like, she's encouraging me. She's like, I'm just so happy my David has a friend. And now to see him grown up, getting booked and all of that, it's just so touching. So if you run into Ref David Sanderson, Jimmy, say hello or poke them in the eye or whatever refs do to give each other a hard time, but to let them know they're in the same club.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, that's cool. I definitely will. And if there are any other refs there, I'll make sure they get distracted before I do poke them in the eye. So.
Excellent. That's right. And of course, it's very easy to knock someone out. Are you doing any active refereeing? Or are you retired?
Not really. I mean, I'm very selective now because I'm very happy not getting in and getting physical. So if it's a special deal, like when TNA came up here last May, and they ran Brantford, Ontario, which is basically Toronto. It's like a suburb of Toronto. And so I went by to visit, and when Tommy Dreamer got wind that I was coming, he says, you coming by? I said, yeah, I'm going to come by and visit if that's cool. He says, yeah, it's absolutely cool. Feel like doing something? And I'm like, what do you have in mind? He says, just bring your gear. That's all. And I went, it's Dreamer. So I said, what the heck? And so I did a little special thing with him and in a match that involved Santino and his daughter, which was kind of fun. It was just a little thing. But for the most part, again, if it's the right circumstance, for the right people too. I mean, like, I'm not just going to do it for anybody, and
for the right price, brother.
Well, that too. You have to talk to my manager, who I'm married to. She handles all that kind of stuff, and she says, "But they're going to give you this much. Are you
determines
kidding?"
if it's worth it? I like that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few factors involved, but I do, like I said earlier, I like doing the WrestleCons and stuff like that more to hang out.
Yeah, it's fun. Camaraderie, hanging out with the boys, meeting up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun of it. And it's funny. She never came on the road with me ever. She's not a wrestling fan at all. Mm-hmm. She puts up with it for me, because that was my dream. You know what I mean? So when WrestleMania was in Philadelphia, I got invited down by a bunch of guys. Said, come on down, hang out for the weekend, stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that'd be kind of fun. What if I bring my wife? They said, yeah, bring her along. What the hell? So I had to convince her. I'm saying, let's go. We're not going to fly. We'll take a drive down. It's not far from Toronto. It's like 8 hours, which is nothing in wrestling speak. We'll drive down. We'll take our time. We could stop when we want, eat when we want, whatever. And then we'll just spend the weekend. The big selling point was I told her, I'll take you to this place called the Reading Market Terminal.
Reading Market. I'm from Philadelphia. Yeah, the best.
Yeah. So that sold her, and she loved it. She loved the trip, and she loved hanging out with, getting to see a lot of the guys. And
Jeff, ironically, my last trip to Philadelphia was sold to my old lady, and like the first thing she said was like Reading Market. I was like, absolutely, it's the first.
Yeah,
place. The first.
It's funny, because it was right across kitty corner from where all the talent were staying for WrestleMania at the Marriott. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. I got an in there and kind of went and did a little visit.
Listen, so sometimes you can't let the old ladies know when they peek behind the curtain and tell them you can't let them know we're having fun on the road sometimes.
Oh, I know.
Once they start figuring out, that when LA and Chicago gets, and then they want to, all of a sudden they want to come to LA and Chicago, and it's a good city. It's New York. Oh, now you want to come, but you want to come to Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Yeah,
You want to go to
Dothan, Alabama,
South Carolina,
Osceola, Florida.
Yeah, dude. They always want to go to the big cities.
Of course.
Well, Jimmy, there's something I need to tell you about Thomas. Most wrestlers are known as road warriors. Thomas is like the Roman Reigns of he flies. He stretches those big long legs of his. He's taking business class.
He only knows me now, Jimmy. He doesn't know me when I was the wheelman, and I will never fall asleep behind the wheel, and I can't let anyone else drive because I'm a psychopath. And we got there, and we got there quick.
I knew there was a kindred spirit there. I am the worst passenger in the world. I'm almost like I'm allergic to the passenger seat. The back seat, but the back seat, forget about it. There ain't even a chance I'm stepping in there. Like that's like the forbidden zone. I can't get back there. I was always the driver. Whoever was in the car, 99 times out of 100, it was Chimmel in the passenger seat. Imagine having to put up with him for decades. And the back seat was a revolving door of whoever would ride with us, because Chimmel and I were also on the ring crew.
Yeah.
So obviously we were kind of like the last ones to leave, and a lot of times Kyoto would ride with us, but 5 minutes into the ride, he's half asleep because he just burned one. So, and as long as I gave up smoking a long time ago, but as long as I had my cigarettes, my Pepsi, and my cheesy puffs, as Jim used to call them, the Cheetos, I was cool. I could drive all night
puffs,
long.
not the crunchy.
No, not the crunchy, the puffs. Yeah,
See, I'm a crunchy Cheetos guy. So
I take either one. It doesn't matter, whatever I can get my hands on. The only problem was it turned my cigarettes orange, so I'd get the flavor of the cheese on my.
Turn everything orange. I mean yeah, but that's all right. It's good that we could work out that first difference. So that's good. So we're eligible for road trips. And by the way, I don't feel the need to drive. I mean, yeah, I think I'd prefer to drive than not, but I wouldn't make a big deal of it, generally speaking.
But if you drive, you control the radio, you control the music.
I know, like everybody has headphones now, even me. I don't even care, especially if you're with a bunch of people that you like. It's usually conversation, not the music anyway. But there is an advantage to that, because especially if it's younger people, I'm not going to like the music that they like, mostly because I probably never heard it before, and I don't want to try to like it. Like music from like 10 years before I'm born is like I'm rather listen to that, the music that's from within the last 10 years. Generally. Now, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, you should see my preset stations in my car from Sirius. So I don't think there's anything after 80s.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm a little bit.
I'll be honest with you. It's what is it? It's 70s on 7, 80s on 8.
Yep.
The blend.
Yep.
Classic vinyl and Channel 51, the groove.
Classic rewind.
Groove. You're missing out on 54. Studio 54.
Yeah. I like 54.
Oh.
Yeah. There's also one that Hillbilly Jim was on. It's like Roadhouse radio. It's not exactly country, but it's not exactly not. It's pretty good. There's also like Ozzy's Boneyard and
There's
I like
a lot
the
of good stuff on there, but you sometimes you get into your groove and what you like, and the only problem is if you listen to it too often, they run the loop. And I've heard the loops like 17 times now. Let's find something else.
Right, and then they play the top 40 with Casey Kasem all weekend long, or with the VJs from MTV. But right. No, it's but you could do a whole groove thing. You could do Groove Line by Heatwave and Let's Groove Tonight by Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, you could do a whole lot of.
Don't sleep on the whispers.
Right. Exactly.
Rubber Band Man.
And a spooky little girl. There's some groovy in there as well. There's lots of groovies in there. For sure. Did you ever tell us what the criteria to be in the New England Hall of Fame is? Like, was it just that you officiate a bunch of shows there?
I guess I was never informed what the criteria was. They just asked me if I'm willing to be inducted and if I was available to be inducted. And I said, absolutely, yes. I didn't even think enough. It's kind of like when I first started refereeing. I didn't think enough to ask. Because when I first started refereeing, I didn't know enough to ask the other refs, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. Well, how do I do this?
Are you a member of the Cauliflower Alley Club?
I am going this year because I am being inducted into the Cauliflower Alley Club. I'm receiving the Charlie Smith Referees Award this year.
Very nice. Well, congratulations.
Another plaque.
I have a question for you because this, I mean, it comes up year round, but it comes up especially every time there's a crop of WWE releases. You know, and then, you know, whether it's non-renewal release or whatever. And, you know, people are constantly confusing employee versus independent contractor. And actually, I understand that. And union for guild and all that. And I understand it also. I mean, it's probably not that important for, a regular person to keep those semantics tight. But it comes up. And, you know, Andrew Yang comes in and out, and, you know, Zelina Vega was pushing for it for a while, and then she didn't, and Paige was pushing for a while, and then she didn't. And there's nothing stopping anyone from joining SAG. I mean, you and I could call SAG right now and join SAG. I mean, we have to work somewhere that uses a SAG contract and earn our SAG credits to start getting benefits. So if every wrestler in the world joined SAG, it wouldn't make a darn bit of difference if no wrestling promotions honored SAG contracts. And people don't understand that either. I mean, they understand far less things like that, like the networks decide what nights you're going to run on things of that nature. But if you could see a path towards somehow improving the industry without anyone losing a lot, is there some easy way to do it besides this constant stream of GoFundMes that I know Thomas loves so much?
I don't think there's an easy way to anything, especially when it comes to the wrestling business, because it almost like they work on their own set of rules. Because that term independent contractor is such a loose term.
It only describes like 3 people in the world.
Yeah. I mean, like, if crazy. If you're truly an independent contractor, then you are not beholden to work solely for that company.
Truck drivers are independent contractors.
Yes.
That's the perfect example. And I think that's where they tried to steal this from when you get to hear that lingo and the way they kind of do business. But like, those truckers are allowed to take a load from here to wherever for Amazon today and then hook up and work for anybody else they want tomorrow and get paid and operate through their own business. I don't understand how you can be an independent contractor under an exclusive contract.
That's actually more common than you might think. It's about control and freedom. So you might be able to work exclusively, but you don't need to be supervised, and you can make your own hours and you can work where you want to work. So it's a lot of times people screenshot me like factor 1 in the IRS test, as opposed to the other 13 factors that are weighed. And, and every state has their own tests as well. And none of them are uniformly applied. They just aren't. Yeah. All I can say is that there's no universe in which a WWE wrestler would be considered an independent contractor, except this world that we're in now, where, I mean, I think that you sort of touched on it, Jimmy, is that no one really gets wrestling. It's sort of unique in its own space. The whole thing, like, wrestlers are celebrities, but they don't have security provided for them. It's like, if I went up to Mick Fleetwood in a restaurant, which I did at some point, and asked for an autograph, and he gave me one, but if he said, "Get the hell out of here," I don't think I'd have a whole bunch of fans screaming at me, "Respect his privacy," but they do. And it's like its own set of rules. Like, people were mad at the guy from Fightful for releasing information about people who were released before they could do it themselves. Right. No sports reporter does that. I mean,
those guys find out, like NFL guys find out all the time that they were traded, like, when they look up at the TV.
Right. See, here's for me where I have the problem with that, because you mentioned Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp was the one who reported it, and Zelina Vega was upset that he reported it before she had an opportunity to put it out there.
What?
And I could understand,
Huh?
I'm going to be honest, I could understand both sides of the equation. Somebody got leaked some information and they figured, I want to be the first guy to break this news. So I understand why he did it. And I understand why Zelina's upset. My problem was with the guy who leaked it to him in the first place.
Right.
That's an internal thing. Like
The stooge that let him know. Those are the guys that bother me the most. I know people are saying, well, we live in a world where the curtains peel back. This isn't curtain peeled back shit. I'm sorry. Can I say that word?
absolutely. And I think it's the same thing. Like no one ever knocks Adam Schefter for telling who got released, fired, hired, all the same thing within an hour of anybody else knowing, because he got the scoop from the assistant GM's brother.
Right. So whoever it is that's leaking this information, those guys are the ones that need to be somehow, quieted down and don't leak this information. Like, where are they getting it from? That's what I don't get. Back when I was there, if somebody found out you were leaking any information unauthorized, because I know companies leak specific things to the sites. But they leak what they want them to know. But there's some stuff that gets out there that's kind of like, okay, we didn't want that one out there. How'd it get out there? And who the hell leaked that out? Those are the guys that piss me off.
I'm not going to pull back the curtain too far, Jeff, but this goes back as far as before I even had my first match. But I verbatim, this is still in the time where like I subscribed to the Wrestling Observer, but I'm still like training to be a wrestler. And I read in the Wrestling Observer the exact words that I heard someone say within an earshot of me kind of eavesdropping, just being in the same room. I heard verbatim a sentence. I read it 2 days later. And I went back to the person who said it and I went, how do they know?
Right. And now it would be 5 minutes later.
How?
Right.
And it was like pretty much like it was the first time someone told me that, every once in a while, like we want them to know some things. And it's like, oh, okay. I thought everything was like whispered and like, they were really pulling this info from every insider in the world and like every whistleblower. But, it turns out sometimes you got to feed the news yourself.
Exactly. And in a business where people get used a lot, that's exactly what they're doing when they leak this specific information that they want them to know. They're using these sites to their benefit.
I think also some of the sites use them back. Sometimes I think there might be some exchanges.
I feel like it's an exchange, right?
Yeah.
You get the interviews. You get to be on the short list of people who are allowed to do certain podcasts, and in exchange you leak, because you can't leak your own news from your official company URL. So sometimes people do want stuff getting out there, and I've heard. This brings up an interesting point, not to cross worlds over, but this week in football, the coach of New England Patriots, Jeff, the head coach was caught photos with an NFL insider, hot lady broad from New Jersey. Diana Rossini.
From New Jersey. Wow.
Diana Rossini. Listen, I'll start this by saying if you're going to cheat, you cheat Diana Rossini. But a lot of credibility talks were coming out this week of like, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what's the difference between him and her, on a adult retreat or whatever. They said they were with a bunch of friends as opposed to, the other guys out having beers with the coaches. And it was said the same way. Sometimes things are leaked and there's people that manipulate the system from an NFL or MLB standpoint to utilize the media to not only get information out there, but to convince other people that they're in the talks for head coaching jobs and pretty much tricking people into getting jobs. This is crazy. When I found out,
oh yeah,
this is like,
I just got to images. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Diana Rossini, she's one. She's one.
I mean,
but yeah, it's just this, it blows my mind that you can manipulate the media and say that, hey, I'm in the running for a defensive coordinator job when no one was even going to hire me. Next thing you know, I'm getting interviewed and I land a spot. I just think it's nuts.
Right. It's like if I was J.J. Dillon and they saw me with Kathy Kelly. Nobody would blame me, but if it was a real sport, you might think that maybe I'm, things are being exchanged that shouldn't be being exchanged.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But,
right. See, I had to look her up because I watch wrestling. I don't follow sports.
Sure.
So I didn't, I needed to know who she was.
She's a big, everybody else knows who she is.
No, it's all good. That's good. And I tell people this all the time, that you tell me nothing. Like, you tell me, you tell me some things, but very little. And if you tell me not to repeat it, I don't. PJ, I'm talking about PJ Black. I'm sure you know him, Raf, as Justin Gabriel. Tells me nothing. He won't even spoil for me whether Morrison was going to lose his hair in a match in CMLL. I'm like the only person not North America, in north of the Rio Grande who knew that match was happening. And he's like, no spoilers, brother. Keeping a kayfabe. So yeah. And as much as I love Thomas, I talk to PJ, by talking I mean text, like practically every day. By the way, he wrote a book under a pen name, so I shared it on my Facebook. But he's starting to put things under his own name. He just wanted to see if Amazon would take it, at first. So hey, if you want to find out about cryptocurrency and sort of esoteric mystery school thoughts and how they're combined, just shoot me a message and I'll send you the link to his book. I think it was like $5 on Spotify and Amazon, usually 3 times more.
Right.
Yeah. PJ's deep. He goes deep. He's writing 4 books. So yeah. So Thomas, while you were on vacation, we were going to schedule a show with, and I'm not going to put this person on blast at all, because they're a kid. They're a young wrestler and all that, but they were going to be on the show, and and my co-host for that episode was April Hunter, and Ref, you probably know her also. I would imagine. Mm-hmm. And he let us know like within like less than an hour that he was canceling, and I don't even remember what his reason was. But she went crazy. She got so mad, and I don't really blame her, but like she didn't put him on blast either, but she did like a whole 3-page thing on X, and I reposted it, so I'm pretty sure that he knows it about her. But
she was that mad?
Yeah, she was really mad. And she's like, that's not professional. I'm like, it is not professional, you're right. And they were both in Vegas, and I was actually fearing for his life that he might run into her.
She didn't remember that 2 weeks later.
Oh yeah, she absolutely. She remembered it 2 hours ago when she texted me to see how this show goes, because I guess she's trying to gauge, like, do I get no-showed all the time? And the answer is no.
Did he put out a written apology yet? No.
No, none of that. April's super cool, but it was just that. But it's just why people are people. We all have our things, and I don't know. I know who Dave Meltzer knows. I mean, that's not a secret. I don't know who Sean knows or doesn't know, but clearly here's sources. I mean, I don't personally care for the gentleman, but everybody says Fightful has sources and gets them, and it's multiple sources, multiple. So there's more than one person, and I doubt it's one person per promotion.
It's not. I'd be in his DMs. I tell him everything.
Yeah, he doesn't tell me, but you tell him.
Send me $1. I'll feed you some information.
My curious question, though, is what do these people who leak this information gain from it? I have no idea what they gain.
It's just I think it's just a different way to get your promotion on a different news site. That's the only way I ever looked at it, because I think it's I think it's cool when it comes to. I think it's okay when it's like hirings and firings, match announcements and things of that. If you're going to break news somewhere, those people are there to report news. And if you have news, you call the news station every once in a while. I mean, putting spoilers out there and things of that nature, I think that's completely different. That's what I don't understand. Like, who did it benefit to let everyone know that Paige was coming out? 4 hours before Paige came out. Like, that's where I think I draw the line. But when it comes to promotional aspects, HR related issues, I think it's okay. I think it does get into that weird area where, like, so-and-so's backstage and you're spoiling what should only be for the people behind the curtain.
Right. Some things seem to be off limits. I mean, it never gets spoiled, or at least I don't remember any time where it gets spoiled that somebody's pregnant. Like, nobody said Bianca Belair was pregnant. Nobody said Naomi was pregnant.
I think they were trying to fight for that story. It seemed the internet was looking for that from the who's the big butt blonde in AEW? My girl.
Oh,
the British chick.
Jamie Hayter?
No, the other one.
Oh, Tony Storm. Tony Storm.
Tony Storm, right? It wasn't that the rumor going around she's out with a non-injury injury, and then like everyone's like, she's got to be
Also,
she's out for 9 months.
Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance. Everybody thought that she was pregnant when she, didn't disclose whatever her injury was, and people speculating that right now about Piper Niven. They might be wrong. They might be right.
Maybe she's just getting her titties done. Like it could always.
I don't know
be
what the
maybe
recovery
something.
period is for that. I'm
Not as long as it is for a baby.
I'm at the age where I'm trying to get mine reduced. So.
Right, maybe too. I don't know. I guess if you track about like half of Charlotte's injury time, you probably have a pretty good idea as to the various recovery times.
And it's interesting because Thomas mentioned Tony Storm. It's because of the timeline, because they announced that she's going to be out for the rest of 2026 and
the rest of the
maybe
year.
early 2027. So everybody's going, okay, 1, 2, 8
plus 9 plus 2
that's
months.
9 plus you need a couple of months recovery time of that. Oh, it lines up. So it's got to be it.
Could be an ACL shit or appendix. You never know.
Right, it could be any kind of surgery that takes a year, not just to rehab, but to get back into you're able to wrestle shape.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, my wife, not a wrestler, my wife, in her early 50s had knee surgery, over a year ago, and she's still not 100%. I mean, they're supposed to take some of the plates out or screws out or whatever, and she said, and all of that. But but she's in remarkable shape and she heals really fast, not even just compared to me. So, but there's a recovery time for regular life, and there's a recovery time for having to jump around and do flips and run and have contact with other human beings. And I mean, obviously,
and also we're in a peptide world now, brother. So if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. If you're taking the full 9 months for an injury that takes 9 months, I'm gonna question who you are. Everybody else
next
can
guy for the
quick.
stem cell.
Quick, real quick.
Uh-oh. Thomas is going to war. Shots fired there.
I'm all fired up. I think everyone should be on peptides and stem cells. Try it. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on what's going on in MLW. They've been on a hiring frenzy, but I feel like they're hiring like the same person over and over again.
I thought Big Damo was the other guy they hired, but we'll see.
Yeah, Gallus and Big Damo. Listen, they're all.
I thought that was the same person, but I think they just come from the same pub.
Well, Gallus are 3 people. 2 are brothers and they're Scottish. Big Damo, I'm pretty sure is Irish, but not 100% on that. Maybe he's Scottish too.
Same. We're getting off topic here, but to steer this back, Jimmy, what are some of the things that I have a question about being on the road here. It's what did you like about being on the road? We know the cons of being on the road constantly, but was there anything that you enjoyed about being on the road, or hotel points or miles that you stacked up on that you guys used after the fact, you and your wife, for like a trip or anything along those lines?
Oh yeah, the stuff I loved about the travel was, again, the camaraderie. When you got together, I mean, it's a cliche when you say they're your family, they're road family, but for some of us it was true. You know what I mean?
Very.
You're with them 75% of your life, and your family gets maybe 25% because you got the travel time in between getting home and get to see them and getting back out on the road. That, and I loved this, kind of not part of the travel aspect, but I love the actual being in the ring and doing it. You know what I mean? The performance aspect. I absolutely love doing that. That almost made all the crap that you had to go through, and especially me living in Canada and having to come from Canada every week, go through customs as well as security.
Connecting twice, if you're lucky, twice.
Yeah. So, like Toronto Airport's actually pretty good when it comes to direct flights if you're going to any major cities, but like if you're going to Dothan,
not always
Alabama,
a major city.
yeah. So, you had to connect most of the time. But like you said, accumulating airline points with pretty much every airline, because you're all over the map depending on where you travel to. Collecting points for rental cars, hotel points.
Mm-hmm.
When I left WWE, I needed a little time to decompress. And then afterwards, it was like, I said to my wife, okay, I'm cool now. What do you want to do? She goes, let's go on a trip. And I'm like, oh boy, she wants to travel now. Where do you want to go? I want to go to Europe. I want to go. So we looked at it. We racked up all these airline points and basically flew business while actually paying for coach.
Yeah.
Getting upgrades at all the hotels.
Perfect.
We didn't rent cars because when I'm over there, I'd rather not
there's no need to drive.
deal with that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were in Greece, actually, I did rent a car, and it made me long for either driving on what we have here called the 401 highway, which is a mess, or the one highway in California. I'd rather do that than drive in those mountains of Greece, because those people they're crazy over there.
As close as you can get.
Yeah, when I went to rent the car, the guy told me, thankfully, being able to communicate in Greek, once you at least try to speak to them in Greek,
Mm-hmm.
they lighten up. They kind of like, okay, this guy's all right. So the guy, I wanted to get an SUV if I could, and he goes, no SUV. I said, why not? He says, no, I'll get you a Nissan Micra. Nissan Micra? What the hell am I going to do with the Nissan Micra? He says, take it. It's okay. I'll give you one that's automatic. You don't have to worry about, because you're on an island and you want to travel through the island, but it's all up through these hills, and one side's a cliff, the other side's a cliff going down. It's 2 lanes, one each way.
Tight.
But they're so tight, it's almost like a lane and a half for 2 cars.
Yeah.
And the buses and the trucks take up a lane and 3/4.
Exactly. So you're trying to scooch over as far as you can without scraping the side of a mountain. And they've got these hairpin turns, which, I'm riding the brake trying to get around them. And these people are beeping at me because the locals are flying around but they do it every day.
Yeah.
And that was, you finally get back to the hotel and you park the car and you say, I'm done driving. I'm walking everywhere.
I'll get a driver. I'll get a good tour guide. Yeah. You don't want to meet Zeus that way.
No.
Now, so you do speak some Greek, so so there's that. Now I know that Greece has some rivals, so I really want to know: did you have problems with Rusev, since Bulgaria and Greece sort of have some historic issues with each other? Like, did you feel like you should give him a Sparta kick or something? While he wasn't looking.
No, I was more like the United Nations. To me, I don't subscribe to that crap anyway, because everybody, I don't know if everybody knows, but apparently Greece and Turkey have this rivalry.
Yeah,
of course.
Go to Cyprus. I was going to ask you next, what's your position on the situation in Cyprus?
Well, the island my parents are from in Greece, and my older brother and sister were both born there. I'm the only one in my family born in Canada. Is so close to Turkey. It's in the northern Aegean. So close to Turkey, not only can you see Turkey, a lot of people swear they could swim it over.
What's the island?
That's how close it is. And we have some Turkish blood descent DNA in my family from my father's side. My father's grandfather was full Turkish.
What's the name of the island?
Lesbos.
Oh, I see. I knew that you were delaying for a second. Yes, Lesbos. Yes. That's where that word comes from. Yes, Thomas.
Apparently, the rumor is that's where it originated from. So,
it's a bit of a myth, and there's some nymphs or something on there. I mean, listen, I have a theory, and I know that both of you could just have blank faces on this one, but I don't care because I want to get this theory out there. I am pretty convinced that parts of Exodus and Book of Judges is just the Jewish version of the Odyssey. Discuss. Talk amongst yourselves and discuss. You're
not wrong. You're not wrong.
Not necessarily right either.
People, one of my best friends is Jewish, and of course, growing up Greek Orthodox, we don't have discussions, debates about religion, but we're curious about each other's religion. So he tells me, some of the doctrines of the Jewish faith, and I keep telling him stuff about the Christian faith, and outside of some people that they deem higher ups, they're not too far apart. Definitely not. How do I explain it properly? They're not too far apart in the way, basically, you should be treating other people.
Well, most religions at their tenets should be there. As you get to the orthodoxies, there's, whether I, as sort of a mainstream person, think that's the right way, they all sort of have patriarchies, women as second-class citizens,
Right.
to various degrees. One of the interesting things about the Eastern Orthodox Church, and I know that there's Greek Orthodox, there's Albanian, there's Armenian, there's Russian, there's Ukrainian, but I think writ large, the Eastern Orthodox Bible is very different than the Catholic Bible. I mean, I think it has like an extra, something like, I don't know, 7 or 8 books in it. I don't know what those 7 or 8 books are, but one might, in fact, be the Gospel of Thomas, for all I know, the namesake of this show. So it's, although if it ends with brother, we know it's the Gospel of Thomas. But like, I don't know, are the books of Enoch in there, and like the Book of War, or the Book of Jubilees, all those like giants and bad angels fighting good angels stuff?
I'm sure it's we have the Old Testament and the New Testament, so I'm sure somewhere in there. I'm so far removed from that because, like, I grew up in the Eastern Orthodox faith, Greek Orthodox. When I was a kid, every Sunday it was like clockwork. You go to church, and it was more like I was programmed to do it as opposed to anything else.
Are we all?
And not that I disliked going to church. It was just if it just felt like what we did as a family. And then when I got married, my wife is Catholic, Roman Catholic. So it was like, okay, what's the big deal? So we were comparing notes, kind of like one day, and it's like, she's like, do you guys say Our Father at church? Yeah, of course. Do you say the Apostles' Creed? Yeah, we do that. Do you see, we're not that different after all, so hey, what's the big deal? It's like politics. Right. You may be Republican, you may be Democrat, but you're American at the end of the day.
Or Canadian.
Well, that's different. We're the 51st state. So,
and you've been demoted. I mean, I think that both Venezuela and Cuba and some others are. I mean, all I know is, you're certainly before DC and Puerto Rico. I mean, on the chart. I mean, I'm not sure Greenland is quite not there yet as well. I would like to ask you, like what are some like hidden away like good vacation spots in Canada, like something that people would like a Newfoundland or something, or Halifax, or I guess if I know the places that maybe they don't count.
Well, there's Nova Scotia. Well, Halifax is in Nova Scotia, which is the easternmost province. Well, I guess you would technically say that Newfoundland or Newfoundland is the easternmost province, because they've got the weirdest time zone over there. They're the only time zone I know in the world that has a half-hour difference. I'm serious.
That checks out to like everything about Newfoundland.
I know, because here in Toronto, we're Eastern time zone. So we're the same as Boston, New York, all down the Eastern coast. Then you go to Halifax, and they're an hour ahead. So they're Atlantic time.
The other consensus is that Vinland, where the Vikings actually had a colony or whatever, was in Newfoundland or Newfoundland, and that was actually considered a paradise or an oasis. I mean, I guess compared to Greenland, it probably was. And apparently Eric Lorette or Leif Erikson, whichever one did this, like named Greenland purposefully to mislead other colonists to get them to go there. And when after you made that like 1,200-mile trip, you're like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, if you're looking for a vacation, though, somewhere to go that's not very modern.
Yeah, get away from me and Thomas.
Like some nice getaway places with beautiful scenery. In Nova Scotia, there's Cape Breton Island, which is very nice. There's spots in Newfoundland that are wonderful. Prince Edward Island is very nice. But if you want to go to the West Coast, if there's Alberta, where they've got Banff. If you're like hiking in the mountains or in the wintertime skiing, that's a beautiful place to go. Yeah,
everyone I know that ever goes to Canada ends up in like Calgary to go hiking.
Yes. That area between Calgary and Edmonton,
Where
that
is
area.
the Stu Hart dungeon? That's where PJ went hiking.
In Calgary.
Because he took a picture of it and he says, "There's the dungeon." But he was he was at Ginger's wedding, so this was a side quest because it's PJ, and of course he has side quests.
Yeah, and then the West Coast, of course, BC, British Columbia. Not Vancouver itself. Vancouver is like, it's like a big city. Nothing to see here, thanks. But Vancouver Island, Victoria, that's a nice, and you can go up to Kelowna. Again, if you like quiet.
I do like quiet. I
like quiet, but the quiet also has to have the conveniences. So there needs to be internet. There needs to be
deliverable food.
Yeah, I'll even go out for the food, but there needs to be like good food, and it doesn't need to be like a pizza joint and a burger joint. That won't hurt things. But like a good breakfast joint, a good sort of like greasy spoon, whatever the local greasy spoon. I'm adaptable. I'm a fat guy. There's lots of things I can find to eat. Speaking of that, where is your favorite? Doesn't have to be Greek food, but let's put an emphasis on Greek food in wrestling cities that you have gone to.
Oh boy. I'm trying to remember restaurants, if I can remember them. Jeepers. There is.
Jeepers.
Yeah, I know. I'm showing my age again. Nobody ever says that anymore, do they? I don't think they do.
I have a friend that says good grief.
I'm bringing it back. I'm trying to bring
good
it
grief.
back.
I like good grief. Jeepers, I haven't heard a lot.
Man, there's this place in Astoria that I can't remember the darn name of it.
Astoria, Thomas. We were in Astoria.
What's up?
Oh, man.
I mean, not really together. At the same time.
It's not far. It's like 10 minutes from LaGuardia. And I can't remember the name of it. See, this is where my memory just lapses. Yeah, you know that place? You know the place? That's how I remember them. The place. It's
Right,
not
Taco
far
Bell.
from,
Waffle House.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the usual answers I get on the show is Waffle House and Taco Bell. So as long as it's not one of those, I'm generally fairly happy with that. All right. So what is your favorite type of, like, what's your comfort road food?
My comfort road food, believe it or not, this is going to sound bad because my go-to place when we were traveling all the time, especially considering we didn't have a lot of time to sit down and eat, I was a big fried chicken guy.
What's wrong with that?
So the Colonel, always,
hell yeah.
Even Mark Henry to this day, every time I talk to him, he says, "Hey, have you visited the Colonel lately?" You know what I mean? That's how much everybody knew that.
Extra
that was
crispy though, right? You get the extra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I had Popeyes fried chicken not too long ago, and I don't know if it's just because everybody's cutting on everything lately, but those were the smallest darn chicken wings I've ever seen. I mean, those are like pigeon wings.
Yes.
And I don't know.
All right, I know we're not going to turn this into a food podcast, but I can't have you mention KFC and Popeyes without me saying something. As the expert on this panel, the problem with Popeyes is that it's inconsistent. So like it's hit or miss. It's not even a coin flip. There's just no consistency to it, which is why we can love and appreciate KFC, because at the least you can get consistency. Right. And Popeyes, you get the wrong Popeyes in the wrong neighborhood on the wrong night where they're short shifted, and you're beat, dude. You got the worst chicken you've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I know the joke is, where's the seasoning? So maybe I've just been spoiled in my life, but this was the first time that I took a bite out of fried chicken. I'm just like, where's the seasoning?
Yeah, sometimes Popeyes just sucks, man. And I love their chicken sandwiches to death, and just every 2 times they're good. Yeah, I've ordered 2 of them, and I've had the first one be amazing, and I've taken a bite of the second one and just threw it away immediately.
Right. There's a place up here in Toronto, not far from us, where we live. It's called Chicken Joy.
Nice.
It's actually up here, at least up in Canada, it's replaced the Colonel.
Ooh, well, that's good. We are getting a Raising Cane's, it's like 2 doors down from Popeyes. So apparently, like their special, it's like chicken tenders as a.
No, it's all tendies.
Okay, that is.
But
I will tell you, business model.
I will tell you, last year when the Elimination Chamber was here in Toronto, at the Rogers Center where the event was held, up in the media box, the catering up in the media box was incredible, and that fried chicken was ranked up there with some of the best I've ever had. It was insane. There was a lineup at the table just for the chicken. I mean, they had this nice pasta. They've had all this other stuff laid out. None of it was being touched. Everybody wanted that fried chicken.
Sold out.
Yeah.
I mean, great fried chicken is outstanding.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. But Toronto's a world-class city for food, but
For sure.
you know, and it's also very clean. It's you know, at least
Other than that, a nice corned beef or pastrami sandwich.
Nice.
All right. So, well,
Simple.
that's from your Jewish friends.
Simple, yeah. Then I mean, I don't need these tomahawk steaks. Not that I would complain if somebody would order one.
Yeah,
but I don't need that. The comfort food. Even tonight, I had a little bit of dinner. Some nice leek sausage with some feta cheese in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, a little bit of a Greek flavor, but along with it was my wife made a homemade cream of corn soup.
Nice.
Simple comfort food, man.
Sometimes all you just need is a good sandwich. Like for lunch, just good sandwich. Decent sandwich.
Exactly. Exactly. Just go to the deli, grab some meat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Quick, simple.
Bakery, grab a nice.
I don't really know what corned beef
panini
or pastrami is.
It's just meat. Eat it. You'll be fine. It's meat.
You know, I've eaten it. I know what it's. I know what they both are. I've even had turkey pastrami. I don't know how you
blasphemy. Turkey pastrami? That's
I
blasphemy.
don't understand that either.
No,
I'm just
That's
pointing
like
out
turkey bacon. How can you do turkey?
Yeah,
that's not
turkey
bacon.
bacon is more common, but yes, it's
But that's not bacon.
I agree.
That is true. Yes,
I agree. Canadian bacon is closer to bacon than that. But I feel like I should know what corned beef is and pastrami is, or at least how you turn like the beef red.
I don't want to know.
To the other.
I don't want to know. It tastes
Already
good.
asked
That's good enough for
aging
me.
and salting to a certain extent, but
I don't need to know that. Just let me taste it. If it's good, I'm eating it.
see, I like to know these things. I mean, I'll forget them too, but I like to at least know at some point. I
have Greek cholesterol, so I have a high tolerance level for that stuff. So.
Well, I take Lipitor, which is American cholesterol. So I haven't had a cholesterol problem for almost 3 decades now. It's fantastic. Yeah. So you don't want to render into the issues on Cyprus and between the Turkish side and the Greek side and whether the Knights of Cyprus are Templars or not.
Oh no.
Why are we getting political here, Jeff?
No,
well, I don't know that the latter part was necessarily political. It might have been more like, pseudo history, pseudo historiography. Well, Tony, you have your list of questions you ask. I mean, okay. So I'm such a dummy. When people still tell me that they want to talk about gaming, I still assume they want to talk about gambling. And I remember I'm talking to professional wrestlers, so they mean video games.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't. Not for me. That's usually one of Thomas's questions, but I'm assuming that you're going to get a pass on that one. If you weren't before, you are now after that reaction. So, Thomas, what do you got on your stuff?
That was pretty much it for me. I just more curious about the travel aspects of life because not as much of a traveler as Jimmy once was in his day, but some benefits every once in a while when you pull up your point status on an airline and you kind of brush your shoulders off or use those points to get a little something free one way. But do you miss the business? Do you miss being in there and being on the road outside of the camaraderie? Because I get it in any aspect of life, camaraderie is always missing. But besides the camaraderie and performing, are you happy with where you're at currently with life post wrestling full time?
Yes. Yeah. I'm very content where I am right now, being home all the time. To be honest with you, for me, because I loved it so much, as hard as the travel was, it didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it bothered some people because again, I was going to do something that I absolutely adored doing. You know what I mean? So it was, for me, it was, like some people would take the commute to work. They'd hop on the transit train or whatever to go to work. I hopped on a plane. That was the difference. And I loved every minute of it. And you talked about accumulating points. For me, it was actually more beneficial than a lot of the talent, the boys, because being part of the ring crew means you're part of the production crew. So as part of the production office, because a lot of guys after a while when I was there, they'd say, well, okay, why don't you get off the ring crew and just do the referee gig? If you are solely a referee, you are treated like the boys, talent-wise, which means they fly you in, they fly you out. Now everything else while you're on the road is your expense. Hotels, rental cars, meals, stuff like that. When you're on the production crew, that all gets taken care of.
And health insurance, or just taken care of?
No,
I'm asking too many. I'm really prying and asking questions.
No, that's fine. No health insurance. But if you got sick or something happened, you got hurt on the road, they would take care of you. That's fine. But it wasn't like a health insurance plan.
Were you an employee just without health insurance, or were you an independent contractor just of a different status?
Independent contractor.
Okay. The
entire time. But again, with benefits, because working with the production crew, we had rental cars, hotels, and a meal allowance, all taken care of. And any points that came along with it, as far as airline points, hotel points, rental car points, we got to keep them.
Oh yeah, you got the reimbursement.
Yeah.
Has that changed, or is that still sort of
That's still the same, right?
Yeah, still the same.
It's crazy. What
that's why Charles is still doing it.
Yeah, I was just you guys. That's why Little Nature's out there folding that apron right now as we speak.
Yeah, he's not stupid. He knows what's going on. You're getting paid. You're getting 2 paychecks. You're getting paid a referee check for refereeing, and you're getting paid for production crew.
Yeah, never host a conference.
You don't call it ring crew anymore. You're production crew.
Production.
Yes.
When you host a conference and you guarantee a certain number of rooms, the first thing people are going to do, they're going to reserve the rooms, they're going to cancel the rooms, they're going to get rooms half a mile down the street for half as much, and you're going to be screwed holding the bag. That never sponsor the convention unless you own the people. Absolutely.
You're giving away some good secrets out there, brother.
Well, brother.
Oh, is that a wrestling thing? Oh my goodness! I
think that I've being blessed enough to be in the wrestling business and the business of like sales and like traveling salesman, it's the same thing, dude. You're using your points from here to switch to there to get reimbursed here to not pay for a damn thing.
Right.
And I'm saving every one of these receipts from all these trips. And I don't know which one was which.
Right. And you get invited to different parties during different times of the day. And you go to the courtesy room at different times. So that all your meals are covered where they're covered.
I will say this. I'm not like some expert traveler, but there's a few things that a few tricks that I'll pull out every once in a while. And most recently, since I was on vacation, and Jeff, you haven't seen me, I ended up at the Kanye concert in Los Angeles on April 1st.
How does someone end up at the Kanye concert?
The literal day before, my buddy texts me, and my buddy Phil, who's just a Marine vet, lives in Los Angeles. Yada yada yada. He goes, hey, listen, I was looking for tickets for like baseball on like vet ticks. He's like, and I think I just got these Kanye tickets. He goes, for almost nothing. Anyway, so I ended up in LA the next day. But one of the things was he was going to meet me at the concert. I was getting off the plane. What am I going to do with my bags?
Get married to a Kardashian.
It's one of those things. And it's just like, my mother wouldn't have enough sense. I get off the flight and I just walk up, and guys waited for the Westin shuttle to come pick me up. Took the shuttle to a hotel I stayed at a year ago, walked over to the guy, was like, hey man, I got to check my bag. I got to go over to the concert. Yeah, man. Great. Sure. No problem. And it's just like one of those things where I know I'm on the road and I know they'll check my bag. Nobody has to know if I'm staying here. You just say hi to everybody and act tall and walk like you belong here and you'll be okay.
Yeah. You have to act tall.
You got to stand up, a little confidence behind it, brother.
Stick your chest out because they wouldn't have believed you were tall. If
I'll also say I used their lobby bathroom and got changed into my concert clothes too, but it was a good time.
I would have expected you to go to the gym, get a workout, a shower, and change there.
Cut it close. We're on the road, man.
All right.
If anybody says anything, the easy thing is my room's not ready yet, and I need to change. That's it. It's so easy.
That's right. Or my wife is crying and she's with her sister up there. I needed to get some space. But he's right. You don't need to say anything. First of all, he's right. You just have to look tall. I mean, no one's giving him no grief. They probably think he was at least an outside, defensive end at UCF or not UCF, USC, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Okay, you heard that. Okay, fine.
I heard you.
Yeah, all right. That's good. All right. So that's good. So excellent travel tips and food tips and all sorts of things. And we know that Jimmy is all for the Greek invasion of Turkish Cyprus. So we got that on the record here. So wait for
That's a different island. I don't deal with them.
but all is good on Lesbos.
Yes.
That's
Not there's anything wrong with that.
No. I think it's wonderful. Electric Blue lied to me in the 80s. That's all I need to say about that. But if I was titling the show, it would probably be All Is Well in Lesbos, but that's probably not going to be that's probably not going to draw in the big crowds. That seems like one of my other shows. All right. Well, Ref, please tell people where they can find it and follow you and support you and otherwise hear you. And if they want to hear the traditional and other stuff or more spontaneous conversation from you, other than Don Reynolds' White Chocolate Show and with Honorary Zeus, where could they possibly find you?
Well, they could find me on pretty much most social media platform. I'm not on TikTok, but I am on Instagram at Real Jimmy Korderas. On Twitter, if I still call it Twitter, I mean, like,
it's okay. We all do.
Yeah. If you wanna go there and be annoyed by a lot of the stuff I do on Twitter that I do to entertain myself, it's at Jimmy Korderas. Of course, on Facebook too. Two podcasts that I do: the Roughing It Up podcast with former referee not Daniel Spencer. He's the current one. Brian Hebner is the former one. And I think we bring something different because it's perspective of things from three different referees from three different generations. So I think that's kind of cool. And I do another podcast called Huge Pop with my buddy up here in Canada, Donnie De Silva, who has like 30 years in this business at a different level. He actually is the only person who booked an entire tour with Hulk Hogan, an indie tour.
Oh, like the last one ever?
The only real indie tour that he did.
Nice.
Which was kind of cool.
Well,
so we have fun with those, and usually
like 1979.
What's that?
What was that, like 1979, 1980?
No, it was. Shoot, I want to say it was like 2011.
Oh, the one of those last ones. Still spending that money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like he was on it. Guys like Kevin Nash were on it. Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. It was X-Pac. It was like most of the clique was, except for Hunter and Sean.
Yeah.
It was one of those deals.
One of the circus tours.
Welcome to the circus. Plenty of places. Thomas, I know that you're not that fond of being found and followed, but just in case you want it.
No, man, I'm outside. You know that. Follow me. It's Mocha Traps. Mocha like my skin color, traps like my traps on my shoulders. I'm out there on the X, the Twitter, the Instagram. I think I just hit some followers on Instagram today. Who knows? I posted a thirst trap, and I think the wrestling end guy loving community found me because I was wearing some short shorts on a boat. But hey, followers are up, engagement's up today, brother. I don't know. I said it to my trainer. We're doing good. So
guys gotta do what guys gotta do. Listen, you can't have Alex Kane promoting you more than you're promoting you.
This is true.
And he is.
I'm out.
Thank you, Alex.
Appreciate that. All
Thank
right.
you, thank you, Suplex Assassin. You're doing great.
Follow us. We'll be back. Gospel of Thomas. We'll get some guests. And we'll do a couple shows. We'll see what happens.
We'll do a thing.
How many more am I contracted to?
1,000. It's like the Sumerian line of kings kind of thing. You can come and go as you please, as you know. It's a whole new me. I have bigger plans for you and I.
So he's a true independent contractor then.
That he is a true independent contractor. Okay. And to the extent that there's absolutely no contract.
Handshake deal.
or remuneration for either of us. So, this is just a pure unadulterated fun. So if anyone wants to find and follow me, first of all, I have a family of podcasts called Garden of Thought. This one does populate on that as well. You can also often find this on Wrestling Soup and Friendos, which is where you can find the Don Reynolds White Chocolate Show and the other show that Zeus does. I don't think the show you're doing with Zeus will be on that. I think that's on his own stuff, but he does the NXT show. Garden of Thought is, I don't know, sort of like Joe Rogan, but more intelligent and less broy and certainly less popular. But yeah, good stuff there. I think I'm on a little bit of a roll. I've had a whole bunch of professors, some new ones, Chris Forth from Kansas, Stuart Tyson Smith. We talked about Egypt, so we did something on the Khmer with Dr. Ed Barnhart. So a whole bunch of cool stuff there. And I
get to a professor guest for that show. Text me later in the week.
I just talked to the Professor Robert Temple, who wrote the Sirius question. Sirius in the Star, not Are You Serious? In 1976, an international phenomenon. He's a great guy. We're kin, so that means we only see each other periodically. Barely at all. Anyway, so Garden of Thought, do have a YouTube. It's at Garden of Thought Pod, one word. It's the same. You just see show art and hear the noise. But one day maybe we'll sync it all up. And if you want to follow me on the Twitter, if you want regular me, it's at Ickarusfell MD. If you want wrestling me, it's at Dose_evil. Frankly, I'm much more active on at Dose_evil, and I'm on Facebook under my regular name, Jeff Lippman, and you can find me all over the place on Wrestling Soup. All right, thanks so much to Jimmy. Thanks for Thomas. It's great to see everyone. Appreciate you being on the show. I did want to make sure that you didn't cover the same ground that you covered with everybody else. So I hope this was a little bit new and different for you, and I hope that the audience got something a little bit new and different about you.
Hopefully. It was definitely, this was fun. I like just shooting the breeze.
All right. Well, if you ever want to shoot the breeze about other things, including the Cyprus question, I'm your man. Thomas is like, shut up with the Cyprus question.
I've been ignoring the news so much lately. It just depresses me too much, and I'm like, dude,
well, of course. That's why I'm talking about things that were like 4,000 years old. I just talked to a guy about Crete and the Minoans and Knossos and whether that's Atlantis. Spoiler, it's not. But anyway.
I have been to Crete recently, and I will say this: they make the best sea bass, grilled sea bass. Ooh, you can ever have. It's so well done. They fillet it. They cut it in half. You can take the bones and just peel them right out. Not worry about a thing.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. Road trip without a road. So everyone get on board. Get on board that love train. All right. Thanks to everyone. See you next time.